The imagery of Revelation is dramatic, but it is capturing that cosmic significance of who Jesus is in the flesh and what it means for the people of Israel, for the world, for Jesus's followers within Israel and as it grows, through his death and then the fall of the temple, the destruction of Jerusalem, and the resulting reconfiguration of the life of the people of God in the world. It's well known that there are significant figures like horsemen and beasts and dragons, and these sometimes invite us to speculate about how to fit those kinds of images to realities in our life. But we do have to pay attention to the familiarity of these images to Jesus's generation and what the vision tells us about what they mean to picture. So, for example, we're told rather explicitly in Revelation 13 that there is a beastly ruling empire that is ruling over the people of Israel as well as many other peoples oppressively, and is quite clearly identifiable with the empire of Rome. And then another beast that grows out of that beast, as it were, or grows up with that beast, whose number is 666. And this way of using numbers to identify names in an indirect way was not unknown in the days of the early church. And this is a way of identifying the figure of Caesar Nero, who ruled the Roman Empire from 54 AD to 68 AD and led Rome into a civil war, initiated the attack on the region of Judea as well as the Galilee in that eastern province of the Roman Empire. And this is a ruling figure that's identified by John the Seer as a beastly power that does great harm to the saints. And yet the vision shows how the saints can prove faithful under the pressure of that oppressive rule by following the faithful witness Jesus, who even through that oppression is emerging as victorious by the power of his word, by being faithful and true, so that even horrifying Gentile empires finally yield and fall to the power of faithfulness and truth, as it's embodied by saints following the faithful witness of Jesus. The passage I'd like to read from the book of Revelation comes from chapter 13. And it is a description of the second beast rising out of the earth that is identified at the end as the beast of Caesar Nero. So Revelation 13:11 all the way to 18. Then I saw another beast, which rose out of the earth. It had 2 horns like a lamb, and it spoke like a dragon. It exercises all the authority of the first beast in its presence, and makes the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast, whose mortal wound was healed. It works great signs, even making fire come down from heaven to earth in the sight of human beings. And by the signs which it is allowed to work in the presence of the beast, it deceives those who dwell on the earth, bidding them make an image for the beast that was wounded by the sword and yet lived. And it was allowed to give breath to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast should even speak, and to cause those who had not worshipped the image of the beast to be slain. Also it causes all, both small and great, both rich and poor, both free and slave, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead, so that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark, that is, the name of the beast, or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let him who has understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is a human number. Its number is 666. So the end of this passage reveals that the beast being described is Caesar Nero, who is giving life and breath to the power of Rome. And what's so crucial about this image is that it tells us that in Christian teaching, established governing powers can be extremely oppressive and are not necessarily to be submitted to, but instead to be resisted. Here, the governing power of Rome, as it's expressed by Nero, is controlling images, controlling economy, and pressuring all of the inhabitants of its domain to worship its image, to pledge their allegiance to it, and to conform to its economic control. I think this is an image that we need, especially in our day, when we are urged to pledge our allegiance to images that are images of war, images of prioritizing ourselves over the needs of others further afield from our life, and conforming to a certain pattern of economic power. Revelation warns us against this kind of beastly power in the world, and it urges us to remain steadfast in our commitment to Jesus and his ways, as opposed to caving to the political and economic appeal of the empire of our day.